mute. It looks like last
Hold
week
on.
we were here together.
Hold on. I'm so sorry. I think we need to redo that. I kept you on mute on YouTube. Okay, so let's roll back. Hey everyone, welcome back to another Inspire session. So today, me and Daud will show you how to use Figma, HTML, and CSS for designing and building your new website and your next website. So, hey Daud.
Yeah. I think I'm not on mute this time around. So, thank you so much for joining us. Saturdays always are Inspire session. So I was just thinking about what are some of the, most useful tools in the industry that we haven't talked about on MSInspir. And also just to review that I'm starting up a series. It's on web development. So I'll be doing series on Laravel. Many framework, Laravel, Node.js in particular. So I was just thinking that, okay, why not, let today be like, a teaser to the series of web development videos I'm about to do. So for those of you who know me, my name is Dawood Idris, and I'm a backend developer. I'm a software developer coding C, C++, Java, and I love being a web developer, so I just love PHP Dutch and Laravel. And recently I have begun coding adding another stack to my framework, which is Node.js, MongoDB, Express, stuff like that. So yeah. So today I just wanted to show you some of the things that I've been doing. The fun stuff that I like doing, and I think it will be nice to show you what is called Figma. So let me just dive into my browser. If you know me already, I won't show you slides, right? I really don't like showing slides except when necessary. So let me just dive into the browser and then show you what Figma is about. So you can type figma.com in the browser. This will just load up a page quickly. And Figma is actually a prototyping tool, all right? They define it as a collaborative interface design tool. That's what they call Figma. So I was just playing around with, shapes, and I sent it to our team to see whether they would have something to say. But as it stands out, it didn't impress the team. So it means this logo is not going to be hot. But I will keep playing around with logo. But so that is the whole point. So we're just trying to come up with something for MSInspir. But you can see that I'm using Figma as a tool to make logos, to make designs, and also to make UIs. Okay, so if you've never met Figma before, so you can use Figma to actually do some quick design. Let me show you what you can do with Figma right away in the browser. So I'm just going to click on File, go to New. Say I want to build a web application, but I don't know how exactly I want the interface to be like. Usually they advise that, hey, why don't you take a pen and paper and just draw on the sheet how you want the layout to be. Maybe the logo should be here, the navbar should be here, and the sections should be here, the footer should be here, stuff like that. Then the registration page, how is it going to look like, right? So with Figma, you should be able to do this instead of on your on a sheet. You can be able to do this on within the Figma canvas. All right, so I hope with this it explains it. So whether you want to build a mobile application or a web application, you just have to come here to figma.com in the browser. You don't have to install it, it's just in your browser, and that makes it super cool. So I'll just come to the top part of my screen. In the header, you can see I have a tool here, which is currently highlighted in blue. Okay, so when I click on the tool, I have two options. One is frame and one is slice. Let's go ahead with frame for now. So I'll click on frame. Once I click on frame, it would pop up this window for me, which is on the left side. You can on the right side, sorry, you can see, and that is called the properties, right? So it shows you all the stuff that you can do. So whether you want to build a prototype for a mobile application, a desktop application, even when you want to make a social media post, you don't need to, you can just come in here, select Twitter post, and then put in the content the way you want it to be, and just ship it to the people, and they can use it. So that is how you make your designs. But for today, let's say we are building a web application and we need a simple interface to connect with. So I'll click on desktop and I'll choose desktop as my frame. Okay, So if you've used something like, I think, Adobe Experience Designer, which is also used for, prototyping, this is how it looks, right? But they call this one artboard. This is actually called, frame within Figma. So I have a frame. This frame, I can now save my work. I'm coming. I think I should probably just hit back a bit. Yeah, so over here you can see my frame, and then my frame has this area that you see, the big area right now. It is called the canvas area. And then the left side, this navigation you see here, they are actually called the properties. Okay, and at the top part you have like tools, which is the navigation. The header, you have like shapes and stuff that you can move around to perform some functions. And here you can see we have layers and assets, right? And the layers and assets is basically, listing the pages you are working within. So let me show you what exactly maybe I might consider doing if I want to build a web application. Maybe I might want just a simple shape, a rectangle shape. I'll pull it in here and I'll just draw, the navigation bar, right? So this would be like how my web application is going to look like. Just a second, let me see. Yeah, so just moving my mouse here and there, and you can see it is just pulling everything here and there for me. But let me just increase this a bit and drag it to that side. Wait, where is the design? I think there is. Okay, so at the top part here you can see I can rename this because it's untitled. My what?
Your microphone's kind of sounding weird.
Weird? Oh, so sorry.
Just
let me know.
How yes, is it now sounding? It's fine. Now it's fine. Sorry for the interruption, but now it's fine.
No, it's fine. Thank you so much for notifying me. So I'll give this web page a name. Let's say it's going to be this page I'm working on. What particular project is this? Maybe it's the MSInspir website. So this is going to be like, the page I'm working with, right? So I can add more pages here. That's why I don't even want to call it pages, but kind of, I think I'll call it project, right? So now for each frame that I add, I can give it a name. So this is going to be, instead of desktop 1, I'll call it, the home page. Okay. So now I have a home page and I have, the layout beautifully here, and it shows me the screen size here, and I can then put a nav bar. You see the way I brought the nav bar to it. So what I can do is to just click on delete to delete this particular nav bar, and I can draw a new shape. So if you just join us, I can draw a shape. Say I have a home page, my website has a home page, and then I have like a header, right? The header would have like all the logos and the navigation bar. So I'll put that here, and maybe I would make this, let me see, do I have something on my clipboard? Just a minute. Okay, I think I have the inspire color here. I'll just use that. Usually I think I'll use black. I like using black color to represent stuff. Okay, so you see that draws like a top navigation bar for me. So here I can then draw a section. If you've been using something like Bootstrap, you know what is called Jumbotron, right? So I can draw a section here. That's like the first page that mostly when you land on some website, you see here would be like a picture and maybe a button, or might just be having a short description of what the website is about. So I would display that here. And you can see I'm clearly building a web UI, right? So when I'm done with this, I'll just export it and give it to, or I can even add someone, add the front-end developer to this particular project so that he will have access to the UI and can build his web application. But today we are not going to do only Figma. We're also going to do HTML and CSS. So which means what we are doing right now, we're going to see how we can convert this to what a web page on its own. So I have that. What I can do here is that I can change the color here, or I can even go and pick an image. So see here in the top part, I have this. I can bring in a shape. I can bring in a rectangle shape, a line, ellipse, or I can bring in an image. So I'll click here to bring in an image. So let's say that I have this MSInspir image that I want to bring into the whole show. Let me see. What is a fun image to use here? Oh yeah, yep. So our website has this image. Okay, so I have an image. I want to drop it inside the Jumbotron area. I'll just, click here and it to drop there. So now you see I'm building a website and I have already a top part. I have the navigation bar, the header parts, and I have a section like a Jumbotron that is welcoming people and telling the people what exactly we are about to do. So if you don't know about this virtual event tool, it is organized by the global AI community, and we are inviting you, if you want to be a speaker, to submit your talk. Okay, so I just added that, and I can duplicate a shape. Okay, let's say the top part is actually the rectangle. Let me come here and then comment it out. So this is actually going to be the header. I won't call it rectangle. See, I'll just double click on the shape that I added, like rectangle 2, and then I'll give it a better name so that I'm able to identify it, like Jumbotron. Okay, and once I do that, I have my Jumbotron, and this would be, maybe I'll put series of sections here. Okay, but then again, I can take one shape like this and I'll copy it with Control-C and I'll Control-V to add it, and I'll just drag that particular shape to the down part. Maybe that's supposed to be the footer. Let's just say this is how our web application looks like. Okay, so we are making progress, but let's see how this looks when you preview it. I'll click on this present icon, click on it, and you see Figma will open another window showing us how exactly this web this UI we are making will look when someone actually sees it. Okay, so see it in action. Okay, so it shows us a preview of the UI that we just made. Okay, so let's go back and see what we can add here. Okay, so let's assume that this particular, this is so cool. All right, this is cool, but there are times when the image you place here is too in terms of it's too bright. Okay, so you just want to put an overlay on this. What you do is to just pick go to the shape tools, pick a particular shape you want. For example, I want a rectangle once again, and the rectangle that I'll pick, okay, so this image, okay, you remember that we had another image, like we had I think a Jumbotron, right, at the back. So I can right click on this and I'll say that send to back. So this would go back, and then the Jumbotron that I had, which is here, would then come up there. Did I really do that? Let me see what we are missing here. Okay, I have that. I have my header. Okay, so I think I do not have my Jumbotron section here. Let me just draw a quick black rectangle on this shape. For example, I come here, then I draw a shape on it. So this shape, what I'm going to do is to make it black. Okay, so I'll make it 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, and I'll hit on enter. So that's black, right? Now I can increase, decrease the opacity level so that we can see through it. So I'll click on the 100%, and maybe I can just decrease this to somewhere like 10%, and you can see the image is showing. This is not needed right here, but in the case where the image is too bright, you can just increase the opacity on it to make it show a bit darker, like something like this. Okay, but it's not needed for this one, but just for learning purpose, I decided to show you that. So let's imagine that I added this and I want to delete it. Right here in the layers, which is the rectangle that I added, I can just click on it and I'll hit on delete. So this will pick that away from my work. Okay, so that goes off. So how do we add a test to this particular Okay, what we will do is to go back to the shape tool. Sorry, I think at the top part, just here, you can see we have test T. You can also hit on just T as a letter, and then it will give you option to write. So for example, here I would have something like home. Okay, now I just added a test, but you can see that even the layers is saying I have a test called home, but it's black, so I cannot see through it. What I will do is to double click there and highlight so that I can change the font color. So I'll scroll down into my properties. I'll just scroll down and change this to something like white. And okay. So thank you so much for joining us today. This session is about Figma, like prototyping your web application or mobile application, whatever, and then building it with HTML and CSS. So we are going to go to the CSS. So I'll just increase this particular font. Okay, so I increase it to 24, and you can see I have home. Instead of just making this like 2 times, what I'll do is to, instead of adding another text, I'll just copy with Control-C by hitting on that particular layer and then Control-V to add. So which means that now I have another layer added. I'll put my mouse over it and drag it to the other side. And you can see there are some red lines, just guiding me on the lines so that I don't move away from, alignments, something like that. Okay, so now I have home, and then maybe I'll have this to be the about. Okay, all right, so that's fun. Let's say we have a logo and we want to bring this particular logo into the whole scene. So how do we do that? We can just go to the tools, shape tools, and then we click on image, and then we choose a particular image to add. For instance, I have this funny logo that I made. Really cool though. So I'll just add the logo somewhere, but you can see this logo is not fitting into what I'm trying to achieve. So usually I think what we would do is to make sure we have a white logo, or this same logo, it's white type, so you can place the logo at the top. Okay, and that will be fun. Okay, yeah, so we can put the logo later, so let's not disturb ourselves with that. Now let's imagine that we have our team, and we want to put our team together, right? We want to make let our team show up in this particular web page. So maybe I'll catch a text and I'll type our team as a word. Okay, and I will Control-A to highlight it, and I will come to the properties to scroll down a bit and just increase. Maybe you might want to do this, you might not want to do it. So I'll increase it to our team. And do you want to add like a straight line beneath this particular our team text that you just wrote? If yes, just come to your tools and then pick up a straight line, and then just draw the straight line that you want over here. Okay, just draw it. Okay, so I have a straight line there saying our team. Now I have our team as a text, and then the straight line. So what I can do is that I can put my mouse on top of our team and just drag it. So it will cover our team and then the line, and I'll press Control-G. That would group this particular our team that I just added. So I can rename this group to our team text. Yeah, so our team. Please check if people have questions, like maybe if I'm moving fast or something. So I'll know. So I have our team, I've added it and I've renamed it. I've made it a group so that I can pull both of them together at any point in time. You see now the line and then the text are moving together, right? So maybe I should go grab some image from online there. Let me see. The live.globalai.community. Some of the the guys over there. So please check this app. If you are just an attendee, wait for October 7th. But I think you can subscribe. Yeah. To make sure you are notified. So let's say that I catch this guy. Okay, Sammy. I right click on this and I'll just save this image. I'll just save the image, and let me see how the image will look like in real life. So in my downloads, I'll click on, okay, I have Sammy's image. You can see, but this image is quite, it's a square. Let's assume I want to make this particular image a circle, right? What I can do is that, let me get Kanshima Lake also here. So I have like 2 images. So in here, all right? So you see their website, they actually use like, rounded shape over there. We can do the same thing, okay? So we can come back here and then we would add a rounded, like, I think here we have the ellipse tool, right? So I'll click on that and I'll come and draw a rounded shape, okay? So this shape would be here, and maybe I should increase it a bit. I mean, it depends on whatever your technical eyes is telling you. Just do it. All right. So I have a rounded image. Is this really round? Yeah. So I have like my circle. Now there's some fun thing you can do here. I'll show you that later on. But let me drag this. I think I should drag it a bit. Yeah, this looks like a circle. Yeah, that's okay. So I don't want to suffer by holding another one and coming to draw it. So I'll copy this and I'll just Control V it. And once I have it, I'll drag it to the other side, and you can see it is guiding me so I don't go out of order. Now let's add an image. Okay, so I'll come down here to the tools, and then I'll click on Place Image. Once I click on Place Image, I can drag an image and put it there. So I have this lady. I won't put her anywhere at all. I'll just put it inside the circle that we drew. Okay, so you see here, she fits into it perfectly, rounded. I didn't need to do anything. I can do the same thing for this guy as well. So I'll click on my shape tools. I'll click on Place Image, and then I'll grab a particular image. This time around, Sammy, and I'll put Sammy inside this particular circle, and Sammy fits into it perfectly. So you can see how fun all this looks like. But what I would really prefer doing is that I have the image, right? But I also have the ellipse too. You see, when you place the ellipse inside a particular shape, you place an image inside the rounded ellipse shape that we drew. It automatically converts that into the picture, so you don't need to group it or something. So maybe I can say this image is I think her name is Malik or something, and then Sammy. Couldn't have possibly forgotten of Sammy's. So I'll come here and then I'll say that this is Sammy, right? So now I have two images. I can just now copy this, Control C, Control V, and I'll drag it to the other side. And you can see I am basically making a very nice website layout. A client has given me a project, and I'm trying to impress the client. I don't want to do the whole work and give it to the client, and the client be like, hey, this is not a website that I actually want. I want something like this. So we can play around with the prototype tool, just one day job or something. But sometimes you actually need to begin from making a survey. That is user experience, user interface design. You have to go through getting the data and then refining that particular data, like just making a survey to make sure that you are offering the right stuff for the user. But for today, we are entirely focusing on Figma as a tool. So we have a very nice shape here. Once you do this, the preview that we opened earlier on is also live, and it's monitoring all the changes that we are doing. Okay, so I can scroll and you can see now I know this image, our team looks cool, but where they are being placed is not really cool, right? So I can make my changes accordingly. Just a second. So go ahead in the chat and tell me how the session is going, and just in 20 seconds. Let me put this in chat. Hello, Sunda.
Yes.
How is it going with the audience? Is there any question for me?
For now, no questions, but people are following you, like when you're doing and everything.
I'm not going too fast, right?
Oh, it's fine.
Okay, but you can see that this is Figma, right? I didn't have to install it at all. I just had to open it in my browser, and then that's all. That's all I got to do. That's all. So I think this should be pretty fun and pretty easy for all of you to follow up. I can reduce this. I think it's pretty big for me. This particular one I added looks like it's pretty big for me. So I can reduce it so that I can have more space for my footer and all those stuff. Okay. So once I have this, I've built up my prototype very much. let me do some cool stuff. One more stuff over here and show you how exactly, you can even take a shape and then play around with that particular shape. So let's say I have the ellipse circle, like the ellipse tool here. I'll click on it and I'll come here to draw, my circle. Okay. Now this is actually what I did with the MSInspir logo I was trying out. So I grabbed that particular logo. I grabbed just a circle too, and then when I click inside here, like this shape, when I double click on it, you see it brings like 4 dots over here for me, right? You can see the 4 nodes over here, right? So when I click on one of them, I'm able to play around with it. So let me just click on the down part and drag it inside a bit. Okay, you see I'm drawing like a shape. So the shape I drew earlier is actually a circle. I mean, MSInspir is like, a global stuff, right? So it's circle, but just hiding the circle behind the scene and playing around with the two to make it look like, it's something else. So you see, you are able to play around, come up with a logo on your own. It's entirely up to you. However you want it, it's just entirely up to you. You can play around with the logo wherever you want. It's entirely up to you. So this, we've just drew a shape inside our web page. Let me look at the shape, how it looks like. You see something like this, right? It looks super cool, right? So that is how you can play around with the shape, and then I don't know, whatever you want to do, you can do it. So I'll click on delete that particular shape that I added. Now let's see how exactly let's add another page. If you just joined us, don't get confused. So we are just building a particular, a UI for a user interface for a website that we are about to, push to production, push to life for people to follow it up, right? So that's what we are just doing over here. So what I can do right now is to add my about page. Okay. So to add another frame apart from this frame, come back to your frame and just click on it, or you can click on F, then that's all to add a frame. So I'll click on F, and then I can select another frame. So you can target phone. If you are making the UI for phones, you can target your phone, tablet. If you've used Power Apps, I'm sure this looks familiar to you, but prototyping is a bit different from the Power Platform community, Power Platform app that you've been using. That actually builds an app. This is just a prototype. But so now we have a desktop. I can click in here and I'll add a desktop frame. All right, so I've added a frame. This frame can also be just, maybe I'll call this particular frame, let's call it about. So this will be the about page. Okay, now I have about page. When someone visits here, I think it should just display a text for now and say about us. So let's come in here and I'll type about us. Okay, I would increase the font by going into my properties tab, and then I will scroll down a bit, and then I would select the font type that I want. And that reminds me to tell you some cool story you might not know of. So I'll select about, so that will be about us over here. Now, as part of those fonts, I usually use Gotham, for instance, but when I scroll among these fonts, I don't see Gotham, right? So which means that the local fonts that I am using is probably not part of, the font that Figma has. So how do I bring a font into my, my UI design with Figma? I can just click on this, hamburger icon here, and I will come down to somewhere like help and account, and I'll click on, when I click on help and account, I'll then click on let me see, account settings. Yes, and when I click on account settings, I can then scroll down, and you can see here download installer to enable local fonts. I'll click on it to download the installer. Okay, and once I download the installer and go to my downloads, that would be part of my download. So I think I clicked on this a few minutes before we started the episode. So I'll double click here, and the installer is just going to ask you accept stuff, and then it will just import all the local font that you have on your machine to Figma, and that's so cool, right? So you don't need to do anything. If it's completed, it's completed. Just click on close and then you go your way. Now when you come to Figma, and then you go to your design, so we have this over here. Maybe you might not have seen it because I didn't show it to you. We have recent and plugins, we have draft and co. Let me click on recent, and you see the recent file we are working on, which is the MSInspir page. So I can then click on it, and once I click on it, like so, it will open this up. I'll double click on it, so it will open it up. And I think now I should find Gotham as part of my fonts. So let's scroll down and see. So that's how you can import a font into your now let's see, into your Figma files that you are designing. Okay, so I see Gothic here. I may not have Gotham installed, but that is how it will just import all the local font that you have into Figma so that you are able to use it, right? I think I should have shown you the message that they displayed on the amount of font that I've been able to add so far, right? Stuff like that. Let me go back to this. Now let me go back to the same place I come from, help and accounts, and then I'll click on accounts settings. Let me scroll down. Let's see. So you see, it says you have 590 fonts available in Figma. Locals are enabled, right? So this will just import your local fonts into Figma. Okay, so let's go back to the recent file. By now, you should know how to, add an artboard if you come from Adobe XD. But if you come from, if you are just doing Figma for the first time, then this is actually called frame. It's frame, it's not called artboard for Figma. So once I have my frame, let's say that when someone click on this about, okay, just this text about, it should then take the person to the about page, okay? So how do we do that? Now, see here in the properties tab, we have design, we have prototype, we have code, right? So I'll click on prototype. And once I click on prototype, you can now see that whatever I touch would have a node. That node, I can just drag that particular node, and then I'll drop it inside where exactly when someone clicks on about, I want it to go to what? This about page. So you see, I just click on the node and it gives me like an arrow icon, and then I can drag it and then connect it to the about page. Okay, that is it. So once you get here, I can do another, maybe let's add a button, like a button below here to say go back to home. So I'll come back inside of the prototype tab. I'll go to design, and then I'll add another shape. So in the shape, I'll click on rectangle, and then I'll draw a shape right in here, right? Maybe this is going to be a button. That would have a text saying that go back, something like that. And yeah, let's just say this is a simple stuff, right? So I'll have the text, and I'll have the the shape as well. I'll highlight both of them, and I'll click on Control G. So this will group them for me. I think this text could be moved to the center. What do you think? So I'll move it to the center a bit. Okay, so now we have go back at the center. Now we want, when someone clicks on this particular go back, it should link back to what? The home page, right? So even though it's a prototype, it actually has like, we can walk through. People can click and then to go to next. So the person can have the experience of how exactly the application will look like when you build it. So I'll come back to go back, and I'll hit on the prototype type, tap on the properties, okay, here. Okay, so I'll click on the prototype tab, and that would bring the node to my shape that is currently selected. So I can just drag it back and connect it back to the home page. So with this in mind, I have actually prototyped this particular application that we are building. So let's preview it once more. Okay, by now it will be loaded automatically for us. Now let me scroll. You see now this is not an hyperlink. It doesn't have like link to anywhere, the home, but this is a hyperlink. I can click on about, it will lead me to the about page. When I scroll, I can click on go back, and it goes back. So that is how, you know, you prototype your frames that you've made. I hope you've learned something new. Go ahead in the chat, tell me how exactly you can use this to, you know, make yourself happy and then make money. Okay, so now that we have a prototype, we've explored the design tab, which gives us the properties of everything. We've explored the prototype tab, and now let's see how the code tab looks like. So with this in mind, let's go to HTML and CSS. I'm hoping that you actually have a basic knowledge of HTML and CSS. If you don't worry, I'm going to make it simpler. So I'm just going to come back to my desktop and I'll type code to open Visual Studio Code. All right. So when I open Visual Studio Code, what I really want to do is not this guy. No. Let's do this. Let's not do this. Let's come back here to my desktop. Okay. Let's come back to my desktop. So on my desktop, I usually have a folder called CodeMon for demos, and I would add, you know, what are we trying to build? Inspire website, right? So the Inspire app. Okay. So now I have a folder. Let's just open this particular folder in our VS Code. So I'll click on Open Folder, and not in my htdocs. Let me go to my desktop. And on my desktop, I'll click on CodeMon, and I'll click on the Inspire app, and I'll select to open this particular folder. Now, this folder is open with nothing inside, right? Let's click click here to create a new file. So I'll click on New File, and I'll call it index, or I can call this homepage. Okay, home.html. So if you are new to HTML, this should be super quick for you. And I'll hit on this not icon, okay, and not key, and this would give me a quick way to just scaffold my basic HTML structure. So this is how the basic HTML structure looks like, right? I'll call this the home page, and in my body. So if you do not know about HTML at all, don't worry. When you click you click to create a file called index.html or whatever name you want .html, that's the extension. Then you have a body, open tag and closing tag of the body. Then here you can do all your fun stuff. For example, we can just say h3 and then we say hello, and we save our work, and that would come back to here. And just quickly, if you're a pro, don't worry, we are not doing HTML, so much basic stuff here. So we have hello, and now I can try to just draw the particular navbar that is at the top. Okay, so it's called navbar, or it's called header, whatever. So I have my nav. I'll give it a class. I'll give it a class called navbar. So if you do not know about classes, this is just to identify that, hey, like it's an ID given to this particular element. So open tag, close tag element, and I can come to within the head, okay, and after the closing tag of the title, I'll then just type style, and I'll hit on it, and here I'll select this particular navbar that I've created. So to call a class, you know how to do it. You just type full stop and then just open up. This is the syntax. You gotta learn it. If you don't know it, you just have to learn it. That's all. So I will save my work, and let's go back to Figma and see how Figma can help us design the page that we are looking at, like so. So I'll go back to my Figma files. So this is a file, MSInspir website file, and I can add many frame. So in the home frame, let me go back to design here. This top part, okay, you see how it looks like a black rectangle that is quite open, and it's black. And I'll click on same when I'm in the properties tab. I'll just click on code. We've done design, prototype, let's do code, and you can see it's giving me a basic code that I can just copy and put it inside my HTML file as my CSS property. So it has a header, and this header has position as width, height, left. Okay, let's do this. Let's go back here. Instead of calling this nav, let's call it header, so that we'll have nav inside the header. Okay, so I have header, and I have just a class called navbar. I'm calling the class, and I'll put in my CSS over here. When I Control S, it will just save my work. Okay, so this is how you add I think there is this extension you can install. Is it called Beautify or what? It will just, make sure to beautify your web page for you, something like that. So you can click to add, extensions here. For now, let's just leave it this way. So we know that we have position, right? And we have the width here. Now position is saying absolute. I'm not going to do anything. I'm just, rearranging this code to let it look a bit better. I hate seeing codes this way, so let's just indent it a bit. Okay. This is not proper indenting, but it's okay, it's fine. So here I'll then save this work and I'll Control S, go back to my page. I didn't add anything, right? I just copied the code from Figma and I added it. When I hit on enter, see, it draws that black thing over here for me, right? It draws the black thing over here for me. So that's so cool. So it means that Figma can actually help us, do some parts of the work, like the CSS part of the whole thing. Figma can help us. Let's say I have this particular Jumbotron, right? I have this Jumbotron and I just want to export this particular Jumbotron so that it will have the same weight over here. Now, what do I do? Let's come back to the Jumbotron. You see, it has a position. It also has like CSS. So I can copy the CSS here. Okay. I'll just Control C it in from the code and I'll come back to here and I'll add a section. Okay. So the section might have maybe, I do not know. Maybe let's give this a div. And then this div is going to call container. So we will have a container in there, and the container is going to have one class. Okay, this class I'm going to call it the Jumbotron class. Okay, Jumbotron. So if you've been using Bootstrap, I'm just naming this to the Bootstrap names over there. So I would then open up, call the Jumbotron as a selector. So Jumbotron as a selector, and then I'll paste in my code, and you can see that I didn't do anything again. Once again, I didn't do anything. And I'll come back to here and I'll refresh this page. What does it look like? Hey, okay, no problem. Let's add the image first. Okay, so okay. Let's see.
So there was a question in the chat by Priyadarshan that can we make responsive designs with Figma?
Yes, especially if it is the UI. You see, from the beginning, I was showing you how to add the different screens that you want. So let's say I'm building the website, but I want it to also look this way in a particular, when it goes to, online, right? So we have like, this screen is for desktop, this screen is for desktop. We can add another frame, and this frame, we will make it, maybe this frame this time around let me click on this design tab, add another frame. Okay. So we just add another frame. This frame, this time we want the mobile view of this particular web application. Let's see how it will look like. Let's use iPhone 8 as a frame. Okay. And maybe, so you just have to design it to look like, how exactly do you want this to appear on your, when you open it on mobile. So you tell the client, hey, if you open it on mobile, this is the way it will look like, right? Stuff like that. And maybe when you open on mobile, this is going to change a bit, right? The display, you won't have like the home, about, contact us. It can't be displayed that much. So you show the user, okay, when you click on it, this is how it will look like and all that. So this is how you add another frame to show the responsiveness of this particular application you are building, right? Hope that answered the question. And let me just go back to here. In my code, I have position absolute with a foil, background of this. Okay, so this was the picture. So I'll just replace it with the picture that I want. So let's go back to my code folder. I'll scroll back up. What did we add? I think the image is just here. It was just this image, okay? So I'll copy this image and then I'll go to, and imagine that, let's just imagine that I don't even have the image. It was designed by a UI designer and then they gave me this particular image. So what I will just do is to click on this Jumbotron and I'll come down to here under the design and I'll scroll a bit up and I'll click on export. So I can export this particular image so that I can use it. Okay, so now I might have an image here. Okay, this is how the image looks like. So let's do this. let's just go and copy the image, and then we paste the image inside, our folder so that we can link it. So I'll copy the image and I'll go to desktop, code more, and I'll add it to my Inspire app, and I'll add the image here. So the image is called Jumbotron. I just need to make sure that I'm referencing the exact image here. So it is set to be called what? Jumbotron. Okay, so this is the image. I'll save my work, come back to my file, and I'll refresh. You see, I didn't write any code, brother. Fox, I didn't write any code. I just added the stuff, and then I have all the layout. I'm not writing a code. I'm just copying and pasting. And this is how Figma is helping us with our knowledge in HTML and CSS. We can then just scaffold a page very quickly. Now we can add the about us, contact us, and all those stuff that we want. I mean, it's quite easy to do that, right? So,
by the way, I also a friend of mine just while seeing your video and thing following, he also created a new website. I just sent the link on your chat, so if you can open it and see how is it.
Amazing.
If you want to review it.
Yeah. This is amazing. I actually like doing this Inspire stuff. Even if you have few people, those people are very inspired to do the next big thing, and that's one powerful thing of what we are doing here as at MSInspir. So let's have a UL, and let's say that I have an ordered list, and I want to add a list item. So this will be the home, this will be the about. Okay, so this is how you list an item in HTML. Okay, if you are new to HTML, trust me, you just need to watch this maybe 2 to 3 times, and you will understand the whole thing. What we are doing. But if you already know HTML, I think you are probably saying, Dawood, what are you doing? Stuff like that. So I'll give this a class, and this giving it an ID, and I'll call this class a navbar. Okay. So let's do this. So this would actually be the navbar class. This navbar class that I had, I'll rename it to Jumbotron class. Okay. So let's do that. Let's go up to the class name. What was the name of the class? Oh, we called it Jumbotron, and then we called the navbar. So we've corrected ourselves. So inside here, I have a header, and the header is having what? A class called Jumbotron. Maybe that is even maybe that's the reason why it didn't even show up in the first place, but we don't know. And then we can have a navbar. This navbar has the link list, and I can have another thing maybe I do not know, something like a div here. And this div is going to have maybe the company's logo. So I'm just going to give a logo here, and I'll say that, hey, this class, I'll give it the class called brand, so that I can put the image or the logo of the company there. Okay. Now, let's do a bit of CSS here. I'll copy this navbar and I'll scroll up. Okay, this is the first CSS that we are writing, officially writing. Everything was given to us by what? The Mercy of Figma. Okay, so I'll paste in here. I have a navbar. I'm just going to say that display. So there's a property called display to be flex. Okay, let me show you how it looks like. Now let me not save first. For now, I will not save this work. I'll refresh here, and you can see that what's happening. Let's go back and check what exactly did we do wrong here. Just a second. So I have my navbar. So I misnamed my stuff. I'm sorry, so sorry I did that. So stupid sometimes. So let me just rename this to navbar. Okay, and let's go back here and see what happens. It will go back to how it used to look like. Okay, but this particular we added enough a list element. This list element is actually having the a font of black, so you are not seeing it, but let me just bring back the color to white and save my work. Come back here, refresh. You see we have home, about. Can you see that? Okay, that's cool, right? Now we have home, we have about, and we have we also have this div. Okay, so inside the header we have the brand. This is where our logo would go, and then we would have, let's make another div. Let's make this one a div. Okay, so I just like to make stuff fun, so let me just delete this. So I'll open a tag, put in a a nav element, and then I'll have what a div to close it. Okay, now when I come back here and I refresh, you see we have the same thing. There is a property called flex. I want to use flex on this particular property. Okay, so I have a navbar. Let me scroll up to the navbar. Here, I'll just add a property called display. Should be flex. And let's see. But remember, we have position absolute. How would this look like? Okay, so you see the home, about, and everything has been like, instead of it being let me go back for you to see. The arrangement was in block without the display flex. The arrangement was in block. Okay, now you can see the arrangement is this way. Let's go back here and let's add something to where the logo is supposed to be. Let's just add some h1 to it. We are running out of time, close very soon. So let's see, logo, maybe the MSInspir logo preferably would always be this way. Okay, so I'll add the logo. I'll go up again. I'm not doing anything. Then I'll refresh. You see, the MSInspir itself is not white, so it's not showing up. So let's do one thing. We can come back here inside our navbar class, and then we say that, hey, class, give me a color of white for every item that is within. Okay, there's a font called Azure. Okay, marketing Azure, I guess. So I'll save this. And how does it look like? Let's see. Let me go back there. So we have the navbar here. We are giving it a font of white, and we are going to give it a class of flex and see how it will look like. So let's just add a display here, display property, and we say flex. And let's save that work, refresh, and you see the home and about has, just come on the same page. Now let's go back here and let's do one more thing. I'm sensing something should be wrong somewhere, but it's fine. Let's just continue it. So we have a display of flex, and then we can now say justify content, and I'll say that it should be space between. Save my work, come back here. I want a space between this tab that is displayed. So see, we have home. Where is the about? The about has run to somewhere. To the corner. Okay, you see that? Okay, I think there is some disturbance on our work for now, but we will fix it. But I just wanted to show you how the flex property would look like if you use it. It will change from block to make sure that it will be on the same line for you. So, folks, this is HTML, CSS, and also Figma. We could continue to do fun stuff, okay? I promise you. And we are really going to do some fun stuff. So I'm just going to go to so maybe on Tuesdays I will start recording every Tuesday. Catch me live here. So I'll be recording Laravel and some Node.js videos here for you. So just make sure to join this channel, and then let's learn more. It's specifically dedicated to web development. All the cool stuff that we do on MSInspir will always be on MSInspir. Okay, so I'm hoping that you understood what we did. So from the beginning, we logged into www.figma.com. We added a frame. By adding the frame, we just clicked on this icon at the top, okay, inside our header. Then it gave us a drop down, and we clicked on F. Then we came down, because we are targeting to build a web application. We targeted desktop. On desktop, we have MacBook. What particular desktop are you targeting? It's asking you over here. And Surface Book, but we targeted desktop, like this size, 1440 by 20. That's the size that we targeted. So then we added it, and we were able to just add a quick one, like a rectangle, to denote the shape of what exactly we're trying to achieve. And then we added another rectangle, and that rectangle was the jumbotron area, okay, that we added. So when I scroll it up a bit, you see, make sure that it's falling within what is actually. I'm so sorry. Just a second, just a wrap up on what we did. Should you not have followed from the beginning, click on here, and then I'll draw this particular shape again to make sure, just making sure that it covers every part of the frame. Okay, now this we can make it black to just denote that it's a black color. So this is what we did, right? And then we just added a shape. So the shape, we brought in ellipse shape, and then we just decided to draw a circle, and then we clicked over there, and then we added an image to it. The image could be any image at all. Let me scroll down to any image that I find here. Okay, like so, like this image, and I'll click on it. Then you see I'll drop it inside the circle, then it draws a shape for me. So folks, this is what we did, and we tried to prototype this by clicking on it, right, and then linking on it, that when someone may hit on this shape, it should just link back to maybe the about page. Okay, so this way, let me then delete this particular frame, this iPhone frame from there. So I'll click there, and I think I can just click on delete to remove it. Yeah. Now, after we did this, we can then click on the present, and then it would show us in real life how a customer would be able to navigate between our files, right? So we come to home, and about can lead us to the about page. When we come down from the about page and click on go back, it goes back, right? And what particular page, what should we click to, link it to the page we just added? So let's say that when we are in the home tab, and then we click on this particular home test, then it should lead to the, I do not know, maybe the Teams page. So this would be called Teams. Okay, this would be Teams. Okay, so I'll rename this. I showed you how to rename this, right? So once you add this, inside here you can double click there, and then rename this to something like, Teams, doesn't matter. Then when you preview this now, and in the preview now, the home test is now a hyperlink. When you click there, it brings you to another page. When you click on this particular image, it brings you to the about page. When you click on go back, it goes back. This is how we prototyped it. And then we looked at the code tab, and then we see that everything that we do, it generates some kind of CSS for us, so that we can just place it inside our code and then be able to use it. If you're a CSS pro, you should be able to manipulate this to suit your needs. I personally don't usually use position absolute, so I'll prefer cleaning this and then making my things tidy up a bit. But at least Figma has helped me to prototype this too. I can share a link with my clients, and then my clients can now view this and see, okay, when we finish building the application, this is how it will look. And then I think we'll be on a safer part of me not wasting my time coding the whole thing, and him telling me that no, this is not how I wanted it, this is how I want it. Okay, so I hope you had fun learning Figma, and then HTML and CSS. If you want to learn more about Laravel, coming Tuesday, we have an episode coming up on Laravel and all the fun stuff that you could do, MySQL to whatever. I'll just cover them up. It's just going to be a series so that I can build a complete web application: registration, login, logout, add a block, delete the block, stuff like that. Then we can advance from there. Okay, so thank you for having me here, people. I'm super excited that we had this session.
Okay, so 3 things before we go. So one, Adam Alex is really loving this session. He's saying that MSInspir is making really good. So thanks, Alex. Okay. And second thing, I also sent a link in the chat. If you can see the Teams chat of someone.
Let me just open it.
Yes, a friend of mine.
Amazing. Was he doing it in real time?
Yes. So he made this message and just sent me.
Wow. He was following through the stuff we were doing.
Yes.
So he was following through the stuff we were doing. Wow. This looks cool, bro. Thanks so much. I think this looks cool. Let's have more interaction. The guy has a design eyes. That's so cool. I'm super excited about this.
Yes. He does designing. That's the reason. Mm-hmm. Okay. So yes. So that was the second thing. Third thing, I want Dawood to tell something about the new thing coming up on Monday, and I'll roll the trailer.
Yeah, so on Monday we have something coming up for you on MSInspir. You want to know what is happening in, the Microsoft Student Partner Community, which is becoming a Learn Student Ambassador community. You want to know what is happening in Microsoft, right? So our newest initiative is called MSInspir Insight, giving you an insight to what is really happening. So we have a beautiful team set up. I think Vedant from India, Eric from is it California? And then we have Victoria from Brazil. Those are the teams set up to give you an insight of what is happening. Very short video, and it will be premiered on Monday. Stay tuned for it. The reason why we actually brought up Inspire Insight is because one day someone shared her story with me about an opportunity that she missed. And I was like, okay, so why don't we bring together some people that can really share, insights to what is happening in the community so that no one gets to miss important updates for the community, right? So stuff like that. So check out for it. It's coming up on Monday.
And before we go, I'll just roll a trailer for it. So let me just roll it. Okay, so let me just roll it out again first. It was not fit this. Hold on.
I didn't get to watch it.
It's fine.
It's
fine.
It's fine.
Okay, so yes, Alex is asking that he's going to do a Figma project, but where shall he send the link to us? Okay, let me just post our email in the chat. So
yep.
Oops, hold on. Let me just post it. Give me a second.
Yeah, and also this is our default. I mean, our web. I mean, every Saturday we are here doing the same things, and even the weekdays nowadays we do stuff like Monday. So you can always, subscribe to the channel, view it always, and give us a feedback. How is your progress going? We are super excited to see all that you are able to do whilst learning along.
Okay, so people are saying that the trailer wasn't visible, so I'll just play it again. There you go.
Okay.
Okay, there you go.
Ooh,
so I hope
amazing.
Yes, it is amazing. And as being the editor of the video, I'm so excited because I have done a new way. So the way that the video has been shot is very new. So I'm excited for like if you guys will love it or not.
Exactly. So I see in the chat now, before I'm checking the chat, and I can see someone is saying that I think this should be Vijaya saying that honestly Figma will be cool for collaboration. That is the definition they give it. They say collaborative interface design tool. So they're actually solving the problem, because if you look at XD has cool features, but the way to collaborate, Figma actually started from the browser, and they were actually fixing the problem of making sure that people are able to collaborate and design. And you can use this to design posters. It doesn't even have to be just website or something. See, I was basically designing a poster here, right? See the way I was able to make this logo. If I was supposed to make these images together, trust me, I would have given it to a designer to do it. But Figma makes it so much easy. When you are done, just group the item and then click on the item and just export it. That is all. Just click on export, and you would have the image exported for you. So to some extent, you don't even need like a designer to do stuff for you.
Yes, that's great. So Daud, before we go, any last words?
Actually, I just want to say thank you to everyone who joined. And I'm super excited of the human beings that we've become, because we are sharing the knowledge that we gain, maybe by buying courses online and all this stuff for free here. And we hope people are taking it serious, because these are stuff that you have to pay to learn, right?
Yes.
I'm super excited about the human beings that we have become now, and just sharing our knowledge without thinking about anything. We just want people to learn. So just always come on MSInspir. and then inspire yourself with the newest technology stuff that you can learn.
Yes, and don't forget to like this video, and also so stay tuned for Monday for MS Inspire Insights on the same channel, and on Tuesday stay tuned for the Laravel tutorial, which will be on Daud's channel. So yes,
Yeah,
so,
and share this video, tweet it.
yes, and
Share it with your friend. It's always going to be here. The same link.
yes. Okay, so we'll meet you next week. So bye everyone.